Hey there, Andre here, and today I am actually dedicating a video to somebody that I very much admired. When I was a teenager, I got very deeply into funk music. Now, it wasn't something funny to me. I really admired the musicianship, especially since I grew up listening to a lot of jazz. And one of the groups that I really got into heavily were the Ohio Players from Dayton. Now, this band formed in 1959 as the Ohio Untouchables, and they even backed Wilson Pickett's band, the Falcons, on one of their songs. And as a matter of fact, from what I understand, this particular band, the Ohio Untouchables, actually performed the version of Over the Rainbow that was played at the funeral of Judy Garland in 1969. Well, at some time around that, they had become the Ohio Players. And they consisted of people like Clarence Satchel, nickname of Satch, Ralph Middlebrook, nickname of Pee-wee, and Leroy Bonner, otherwise known as Sugarfoot. And he was famous for playing this, double neck guitar and having this huge afro that would flop right over when he'd be on stage. And he was just an amazing presence. He was even on a Herbie Hancock song in the 80s called Vibe Alive. You remember that? And today, Leroy Sugarfoot Bonner passed away. Well, actually, he passed away yesterday, but I just got the news. So, R.I.P. Leroy Sugarfoot Bonner. One of the things that struck me about the Ohio Players is their album jackets. And I'll show you one of them right now. Here's their 1976 album, Contradiction. They tended to use a lot of sultry female models, in this case posing with a horse, to express certain sexuality. Now, it was very, softcore at the time, but they really pioneered sexual innuendo in album jacket art. And they had a big hit in 1974 when they moved to Mercury from Westbound Records, where they used to be, called Skin Tight, and here's a cover for that album. They had another famous album, which I don't have here today, called Honey, from 1975. It featured a song called Love Roller Coaster, which the Red Hot Chili Peppers did for the Beavis and Butthead Do America movie years later. But anyway, Love Roller Coaster was on this album called Honey, and it featured an album cover with a model eating hot honey. When you opened it up, she was pouring hot honey on her. Now, the story goes is the model got burned and stuck to the floor from that honey. And that created a lot of controversy and actually bumped up the sales of their album. So that was the beginning in a lot of ways, what the Ohio Players did, of what's happening in music today. And actually, they recorded a lot further ahead than the 70s. In fact, they released this album in 1984 called Graduation. This is a CD reissue of that record. They were still using that soft porn kind of imagery, as you could see, to titillate, to sell records. But the point is that they weren't using sexuality to sell fair to mediocre music. These people were highly skilled jazz and blues musicians who had a lot of ability, and the bass and guitar and horn solos they took on their songs actually sounded just as sexual and just as sensuous, as a matter of fact, as their album covers appeared. That's the amazing thing about that band, and that's the amazing thing about funk. How they were able to sell sex, not just through their imagery, but through their music. And Leroy Bonner was an extremely talented guy. And a lot of people may not know his name, but they'll know Love Roller Coaster. They may even know Skin Tight. They had a lot of pop hits in their day. They were competing with Earth, Wind and Fire and all those kinds of people. So, R.I.P. Leroy Bonner, and, to all of your family out there, and to any fans of funk or the Ohio Players or music, you innovated in more ways than just music, Leroy. And to all of you out there, peace, and have a fantastic day.